Okay, I'm going to show you how to use a green screen in photography. And a lot of movie makers use these, maybe all of them, when they're trying to put a different kind of background in the film than is really there. So the thing about green screen is or blue, it makes it easier just to delete the whole background because it's mostly one color. Of course, it would be better if you ironed your green screen. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to crop this and just get rid of all the extra stuff because there's no reason for me to be dealing with all that background because I don't want it anyway. So just make sure I get her in there. And then by clicking the check, it means I accept that. And the next thing I'm going to do is get my eraser. And then you want to come down here and make this choice, which is the magic eraser, has a little sun. And first thing I'm going to show you some different things. So here's the settings. Contiguous means that everything that's touching will get wiped out, but things that aren't touching won't. So let me just show you that. So like right now it's contiguous, so it's only taking stuff out of the parts, not the whole thing. If I go back and I change it to not contiguous, it'll just take out a lot more. Okay, so let me just show you. Okay, so that's one thing. Now, I don't know what anti-aliasing means, but they say to leave that turned on, so I'm just doing that. But the tolerance, if you turn this way up and now I do this, whoa, so it was a little too tolerant. It was everything that had the least bit green, it was going to get rid of. So here I turned it down, but you can see it's still, it got rid of some other stuff that I didn't want it to get rid of. So I'm going to turn it down some more. And you just have to experiment. So let's see how that works. So that's pretty good. And so I want to show you here because her coat and this corner are almost the same color. So if I say that it has to be contiguous and I click here, then just this part disappears. But if I were to not do that, if I would leave it on not contiguous, whoops, I have to go back one more. And then I did this, it would take her coat out. So luckily there's an undo button. And then what you can do is just get your regular eraser and, oh well, actually I could probably get rid of a little more of this green here. So when you're doing this, the point of your eraser is where it erases, not like the sun. It's just it's the point. So you could go around and do that, or you could just get your regular eraser and just start erasing things like that. So there's other ways to do this, and I've showed you some of them. It's where you just select her and then cut her out and paste her somewhere else. Or you can use a layer mask to do this. This is just another option. And if my green screen had been perfectly ironed, it would have been a lot easier, but I didn't think of it. Okay, so here's my good version of her. I got rid of as much little green stuff as I can. I went all around the edges. I used my clone stamp to fix things that got a little messed up by the green, and it's still not perfect, but I worked on it a long time to make it better. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to duplicate her, and I'll turn off my background layer. And I'm going to go over here to this picture of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And so I can just go up here and say select all, and then I can do Command C for copy. And then I go back to my erased version of Kathy, and I'm going to paste it in. So now it's this tiny little thing here. So I'm going to get my move tool, and I'm going to make it bigger. And so things you get off the internet, because they're not nearly as high resolution as the photographs you're taking with your camera, they they can look really pixelated, but it seems like when you go ahead and accept that move, usually they snap back. If they were really small, then you might want to find some other picture to use. Okay, so now she's covered up, but I'm going to put that picture of the Leaning Tower of Pisa behind her, and now she's in Italy. So I get my move tool again, and I get on her layer, and then I can just move her back. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but a really hilarious thing that people love to do is take pictures when they're at the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Take pictures of themselves where it looks like they're holding it up. So this is how you can do that without going to Italy, although you should go to Italy. Okay, so say I want to tip her. I don't think you can see that very well, so I'm going to move it back a little bit out of. So here I want to tip her. I got my little half circle arrows right there, and I can move this back and then bring her up until I have what I feels like, the perfect, I guess she should be a little smaller, huh? The perfect angle for her to be pushing that up. Okay, and then I'll say okay. And then I just can't stand these little bounding boxes, so if I just pick any other tool, then that goes away. So this, actually, the lighting and all looks pretty good, but, maybe I wanted to change it to a night scene. So I could go, like, if you're done with all this stuff, that you don't want to change her, you don't want to move her, you can do this thing called merging the layers, but it's risky because you can't go back then and change things. So let me just show you how to do that. So I'm going to, select both these layers by pushing down the shift button. I'm going to go to layer, and I'm going to say merge layers. And so now they're just one layer. So if I wanted to, I could copy that layer again, always a good idea. And at least I have this back here that I can go back to. I could have saved it too. I could have saved 2 different versions. But anyway, so now if I want to change the lighting in this, I can change it all at once. So I could go to adjust color, adjust the hue and the saturation. I could make it a little less saturated. I could, I can change all kinds of stuff, whatever I want. You see how it's changing everything. But let's just say I wanted to make it like be nighttime or something, so I can make it darker. Like I say, whatever I want to do. And then if I want, let's just say okay to that. I can also bring in other pictures. So I thought I would just grab a moon. And so I already erased the background on this. So I'm going to just select it. And it's great with no background. It just selects it really quick. I'm going to copy it. I'll go back to this and I'll paste it in. And then I get my move tool and I just put it wherever I want it. And it can be a humongous moon if I want it to be. And if I want it to be really big like that, but I really wish it was behind my Leaning Tower of Pisa, but now I can't do that because of other things. I can accept that. I can get a layer mask here. I get my brush. I get the black. And then maybe I have a smaller brush. And I can just start erasing my moon. So really, it's the most versatile program ever. And super fun. And sometimes I worry that you guys are just not having enough fun. That you just feel like, oh, I've got to do this assignment that Janine gave me. And, fun is not part of the deal. But yeah, I'd really like you to have fun. It's the kind of time in the world that it'd be great to have fun. And then if my moon gets a little, I got rid of my moon too much, I switch my color to white. And then I can just come back in and do that. And so on this, if I get back on my moon layer, I can do things with my filter too. I could just blur it a little bit so it looks further away. Yeah, I really blurred it, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay, so that's what you can do with a green screen, and I want to show you something else you can do. So I'm going to go here, I'm on my erase version, I'm going to go and I'm going to revert it back to the original. So here's Kathy. I'll just copy it because that's a good idea. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to go down here and get graphics, and here I can just pick anything I want to go behind her. There's all kinds of stuff. So let's just say I wanted to do leaves. So there she is, she's in front of leaves. So let me go back to my layers. And so the problem here is that you can't actually do anything to this layer. So let me just turn her off. And like here, if I wanted to go, say I wanted to blur this layer, it won't let me. And I got to tell you, I don't exactly understand why, but anyway, it won't. So what you could do to solve that problem is you could make a screenshot of it. Okay, and then I'm going to just get my screenshot. Oh, I have two now. Okay, put it there. I'm going to select all. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to turn off this one and then get my move tool and make it bigger. And see, it looks super pixelated, but when I accept the move, then it goes back to looking okay. So let's see. Okay, so I'll turn that one on. Okay, so now I'm on this layer, and if I want to, I can blur that layer. So I just go to blur. I'm going to use Gaussian blur. And, blur the snot out of it, but that's okay. And, maybe I'd like to make it a little darker so she shows up more. Nope. Okay, have to be on the right layer. And then maybe I want her to not be running right, floating here, so I can just move her wherever I want. So you can see how this could be like a really cool way to do some graphic design work. And you could add text to this or, something, the perfect outfit for autumn. But anyway, that's how you use a green screen. And I hope you could really have some fun with this because hours pass. Alrighty, thank you.